Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As I was about to title today's video, we're here to showcase the #1 meta Pro-Am point guard build in NBA 2K23. Now, in future videos, what I'm going to be doing is showcasing to you guys my team's Pro-Am build and what people consider to be the meta. In today's video, though, I actually do agree with what the meta is, and it's what my team's Pro-Am guard actually uses. So, we will get straight into this build video. As you can see, we have the 6'1", 163 on the weight, 6'7" wingspan. This puts you at 92 3-pointer, 80 driving dunk for the quick drops. We have a couple slight adjustments, though, compared to what everybody considers to use. Now, the reason I'm going to call this the meta Pro-Am point guard is the fact that my boy AK, also known as Shots Top 5, runs this, and he's really deep into the Pro-Am community as well, and this is exactly what he's going to be running. Not really to a complete T. I have a little bit of a difference in speed with ball just for an extra badge point right here, but this level of ball handle is something that people like Eyeball Greens end up going for as well. He actually goes a little bit higher for that matter, but he's going to be the #1 Pro-Am point guard in the game this year. Definitely going to be drafted first overall in the 2K League draft coming up here as well. With this, you have 96 ball handle in the Hall of Fame clamp breaker, as you can see. Now, Greens actually runs 97 ball handle for the killer combos on Hall of Fame as well. I'm not gonna lie, he's like the only person I've really seen do that in this game, to be completely honest with you guys. Aside from that, most people typically run about 95 ball handle for, as you can see, the Hall of Fame unpluckable, and some people are even still using 94 ball handle for just the gold handles for days, and that's it. And they go for the badge point, so they don't really want to go for that 95 in the Hall of Fame unpluckable. Most people that do that, though, are just on day one builds. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Now, I think the real trend to hop on nowadays is to have that 96 ball handle. So if anybody's made like a new build within the last couple of months or so, they're making this with 96 ball handle in the Hall of Fame clamp breaker. It makes you super slippery when it comes to just being grabbed by defenders, and you can't be bumped. It's really as simple as that. And you can even hear it from my boys when we get back into the Pro-Am as well, or just in general when you watch Greens or any other top Pro-Am point guard that's using a build that has the 96 ball handle as well. So aside from that, for any newcomers to the game or anything like that, we have the 92 3-pointer for the gold limitless range. When you're playing Pro-Am, it's going to be a very pick and roll heavy game. It's as simple as that. If you're playing more park, I would say an 89 3-pointer is more acceptable. You get that Agent 3 on gold and blinders at this level, and maybe you don't have to invest even fully into that 92 3-pointer, but nonetheless, it is still nice to get that 91 for the Hall of Fame green machine right there, and then the 92 for the gold limitless range. 78 mid-range is something that pretty much everybody at point guard runs for Pro-Am. As you can see, it gets you that 24 shooting badge count, and with the 24 shooting badge count, with a core, you're going to be able to run 3 different shooting badges in the tier 3, which then consist of Agent 3, blinders, and limitless range for pretty much everybody. Nowadays, though, for the people that are hitting level 40 for season 3, you're going to be able to get 2 shooting core badges. So I would say pretty much everybody in their right mind at point guard is going to be just dropping off their finishing badge core and getting the extra shooting, and it should be about as simple as that, to be real with you. I don't think it's going to be much more complicated than that. So a lot of people are going to be doing. So with that in mind, if you were going to be looking at something like Agent 3, blinders, and limitless range all being ran because you could core 2 of them, beforehand, if you were only able to core 1, it would leave you a little bit low on the shooting badge count when it comes to things like amped, green machine, volume shooter, for instance, maybe even some clutch shooter if you're interested in that as well, or even midi magician. It's actually a pretty solid thing to run for, obviously, like the midi crabs, going for the midi fades and stuff like that too. Sometimes defenders will run you off the 3-point line, and then you're going to have to either go to the quick drops, as you can see with the 80 driving dunk, or the 78 mid-range with gold midi magician is still plenty doable as well. Now, you may be asking, why so low on the defense? Well, it's as simple as this. Most point guards when they go in Pro-Am are going to be lining up in the corner on defense. It's where you get least exposed just in general. You're not going to be putting pick and roll defense at all. You're not going to be really ISO'd or anything like that. The only thing you have to worry about is protecting yourself in the passing lanes, which 85 steal rating, we can still get on-ball plucks as well with the glove, and then you're going to be able to core one of them between glove and interceptor, and then the other one that you don't core, you're going to be running. So you'll have silver glove, silver interceptor, and then aside from that, for your extra defensive badges, it probably depends on your team's style. If you're never ever touching the wing on defense, I would advise for things like maybe workhorse, off-ball pest, box out beast, all types of stuff like that. Maybe even rebound chaser. It's a little bit less reasonable to do something like this, but who knows, maybe you're interested in something like that. Nonetheless, though, if you're maybe someone who maybe will occasionally touch the wing on defense, ideally you would probably go with something that looks more like this. So any like little knockoff of playmaking that you do, or finishing or something like that, or maybe you drop in acceleration. Maybe you go to 94 excel, then you can get that 96 ball handle back. If this is something you're interested in, 76 Prim D would be a little bit more acceptable, because then in general, we're going to be able to handle playing the wing D a little bit more. With 76 Prim D, you can be a little bit more reliable when it comes to that than, say, the mid-60s that we were looking at before. Plus, at this 76 perimeter defense rating, as you can see, you get an extra defensive badge point, not to mention that pick dodger, ankle braces, and workhorse all go up a tier, as you can see, which, again, is very convenient for defending the perimeter. If you're going to be on a build like this, you need pick dodger on a build like this, because you're doing no such thing as switching or anything like that. Even if you can play play a passing lane, maybe even decently, you're still not going to switch on to bigs very often with this. You're always chasing the guard, and the team is going to have to set up rotations around you if you ever end up on the perimeter. So ideally, you don't really touch the perimeter with a build like this. Again, though, if you are interested in that level of perimeter defense being upgraded and really are okay with dropping that acceleration down to 94, be my guest. I think it's actually a pretty reasonable thing to do, and it could be pretty viable. Then aside from that, something that you maybe could cut out on is this 2 speed with ball right here. Speed with ball is not very important for anybody who's maybe new to the game. It's more so just tied to you sprinting directly down the court for a long period of time. So what you're looking at more is your acceleration, as you could probably tell by what I have upgraded right here. So the only reason I have speed with ball up to 83 is for this extra badge point right here. Not to mention, you maybe could cut off your pass accuracy down to 75. I've heard my boy AK though say he really does not like only running bronze bailout, and not to mention the lower your pass accuracy, the lower reliability when it comes to your bailout passes. So in my belief, 80 is a threshold that actually looks pretty good when it comes to speeding your passes up. Not to mention, as you can see, just get an extra badge point. You get the dimer up to gold if you really would like to run that as well. And as you can see at 78, we get that bailout up to silver. And just in general, a more reliable pass accuracy, where the bailout mechanic still depends on your pass accuracy quite a bit in this game. So these are the couple revisions that I would say you could make if you want to drop that pass accuracy down. Maybe you want to drop that 2 speed with ball down, maybe, or maybe you want to rock out with this level of perimeter defense right here, where you just get the 16 defensive badges. That gives you enough to core one of them and run the other as well. And then really you're just guarding corner. That's perfectly fine. Then you could just throw it into acceleration and get right back to where we were before. So that is what I believe to be the #1 meta Pro-Am point guard. The reason, in case you're curious about the 6'1", they just have literally more attribute caps. It's unbelievable. It's actually one of the most broken things in the game, yet people still don't even talk about it. And in general, what makes small guards good as well is the Trae Young dribble pull-up. You got a lot of different jump shots that are restricted to you between Steph Curry or Kevin Porter Jr. is the new one that we'll maybe talk about in another video as well. But it's the really fastest jump shot in the game. I'm gonna be real with you. That Kevin Porter Jr. stuff is quick, man. So the people that come out here and run on builds like this, they need the fastest jump shot possible, because you have to get the jump shots off in a timely manner between maybe peaks and windows, between screens, or just in general. Like, it actually lets you quick stop too. On Curry jump shot, it's just too slow and you can't really get quick stops off. You have to be a little bit more fade made. And not to mention too, your uppers that maybe run on that Kevin Porter Jr. jump shot can also speed up your jump shot as well when it comes to the fades. So just in general, what you're going to be doing on a small guard is a lot of pick and roll, dicing the defense up. You got the quick drops as well, so you can still rim run people if they play you high off the backside on the pick and roll defense. Not to mention, again, we got the fades, we got the 96 ball handle for the Hall of Fame clamp breaker. The passes are plenty decent at 80 pass accuracy as well. 95 acceleration, be zooming. I really do want to advocate for you guys going for that 80 speed, whether you go for the acceleration or not though. Just keep that in mind. 80 speed seems to move a lot faster than 79. It seems to be a threshold. I've seen like multiple guards that I've played with this year. Between like Zeke has a 75 speed, he has a 79 speed guard. AK has multiple 80s and he moves way faster than Zeke off ball for some reason. So now Zeke is also making a build that has 80 speed. And long story short, I would just advise for you guys not to make that mistake if you're making a new build, and probably go with the 80 speed regardless of what you do with acceleration. So that is pretty much the build right there, but I want to talk about maybe the badge loadout you could run and then your takeovers as well. So my personal belief and what we run for our team, we've got the limitless range primary that's going to be helping you in the pick and roll game, and just in general, like I said, you can quick stop. The more range that you have off that, the better. And not to mention, you can even still fade comfortably from limitless. It's pretty crazy, I gotta say. I've seen my boy AK do some crazy things in this game, but nonetheless, what we kind of talk about between me and him, because when he runs stage, he uses easy blow-bys as a secondary, because he just gets a couple rim runs and then it helps him get his takeover faster, and the rim runs lead to him getting the sharp take, obviously. But the suggestion that I kind of gave to him, and we kind of mutually agreed on this right here, is that a playmaking takeover would be pretty smart when it comes to Pro-Am for your secondary, because people may, in Pro-Am, force you as a point guard to actually pass the ball to your teammates way more than you really would like to. And with that, if you do have to be a passer and become, like I said, more of a passer as well, it's going to allow you to get your takeover even quicker, whether it's for hitting your big men on the slip, hitting your corners for their corner shots as well. And when this is active, let's say maybe for instance you actually say for double take as well, you're gonna be a problem. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, the defense cannot double team you, because if they do double team you, the rest of your team is getting unreal amounts of takeover boosted, and that leads to lockdowns getting their takeover, at least to bigs getting theirs for the box out beast, or the box out wall I should say, and way more worms, way harder to deal with on the boards. Maybe your shooting guard gets takeover and then boom, now he can like actually handle the ball a little bit more viably. Long story short, I really do believe in team takeover boosts as a secondary quite a bit. If you want to use another playmaking takeover though, Team Badge Boost is pretty decent. I'm just telling you, Team Takeover Boost is souped. I had both of these takeovers in the S tier on my video yesterday, and I definitely would advocate for running both of them at the same time with this point guard build. But anyway, we're going to go into the test builder real quick and show you where you want to put your extra badges, or just in general what badge loadout you could run. Alright, so here we got everything set up. Now I want to talk about the potential of maybe the core badge loadouts, so to say. So let's just say that maybe you're someone who wants to run the finishing core badge. Problem is, there's not a whole lot to pick from right here. I'm going to be real with you, it's very hard to core Silver Limitless Takeoff, so it's not going to give you those points back. Maybe you're someone who cores Bronze Posterizer potentially, and then boom, there you go, it's something that you could run. But I'm going to be real with you. Ideally, you're going to be someone that probably double core badges shooting. Not to mention, let's just talk about this situation right here. So, with 24 shooting badges, it's enough to run, like I said, 3 tier 3s. Unfortunate part about it, though, is it leaves you with not a whole lot of badge points left over. So, I'm going to advise that you guys maybe go about it in a way like this. If you do, and listen to me very clearly, because I want to set you up for success if you do make a build like this, and maybe you're like someone who's getting the game for Christmas, whatever the case may be. So, if you do plan to hit level 40 this season, which is going to be hard if you're getting it for Christmas, by the way, but just keep all this in mind. If you do plan to hit level 40, I do advise that you double core badge, and at that point, you get 7 points back for free for coring, let's say, Agent 3 right here. Also, my bad, I had the wrong thing on. I had Deadeye instead of Blinders. That's a big mistake. But anyway, let's say you double core badge, Agent 3, boom, there you go. That's 7 badges right back in. Now you're going to spend 2 more into Amped for Hall of Fame. At that point, you could probably run, let's say, even Hall of Fame Volume Shooter, and then maybe either Bronze Mini Magician or Bronze Clutch Shooter. So that's what you at least get for just double core badging shooting, and it's simple as that. If you want to put a couple extra into shooting for, let's say, maybe even Mini Magician up to Gold or something like that, and then you could still run the Hall of Fame Volume Shooter, that would be 2 extra right there. So just keep that in mind. Not to mention, if you go with the 2 extra, you could even just get amped for the time being until you can get double core. So that's at least my take on that. But I will say, you do want to put a good bit of extra into your playmaking probably. I would advise at least 3 extra, maybe even 4 extra. So if you go 3 extra, you can get Hall of Fame Hyperdrive right here with this badge loadout, how we have it. Mind you, you're going to need to core Hall of Fame Clamp Breaker, which is going to be way harder than to core gold handles for days. So let's say you do maybe add in, let's say, here, let me just like make a good example right here. So let's say potentially you add in 4 playmaking badges, and for the time being, while you have gold handles for days cord, and it's going to take a long time to get that Hall of Fame Clamp Breaker cord, you could then put 4 extra in, and you'll be able to put 1 extra into your hyperdrive right here, and then you'll be able to put the other 3 into bronze bailout. All you'll be working toward at that point for getting Hall of Fame Clamp Breaker instead of gold handles for days would be to move bailout from bronze to silver. Simple as that. Aside from that, unfortunately, you probably wouldn't be able to run anything like Needle Threader or Dimer. It is what it is, though. These are the necessities when it comes to the badges. If you're someone that doesn't really like Hyperdrive, though, let's say maybe you don't care about the Hall of Fame Hyperdrive, at that point, then boom, you got it like this. You don't even have to put extra playmaking in or anything like that. And at that point, you could probably just run like Bronze Needle Threader, or maybe one extra playmaking for the silver. I am a big fan of Hyperdrive, though, personally. Some guards aren't because I really don't believe in it very much. I would say if you're a little bit more of a rim run heavy point guard, you probably would want this. Not to mention, it's very nice to have this in Pro-Am for the press break. More downhill movement is very, very much so included in this game, in my opinion. So I would definitely advise for the whole Hyperdrive idea. And again, probably more along the lines of running something like this, where you run 1 extra playmaking badge into the Hyperdrive, then you have 3 more extra, again, because you're putting all 4 into the playmaking, and then boom, you get the bronze bailout. And again, I would really try to get that double shooting badge core. It's going to be kind of tough. If you guys do want to hear any bright side, though, me and my whole team, we played against Joe Knows in that wager, and I promise we're going to get back into Pro-Am pretty soon. We haven't really played much Pro-Am since then, but in that whole wager, nobody ran like a green machine at all. Not even bronze, not silver, gold, Hall of Fame, anything like that. Nobody between our 1 through 4 or 1 through 5, pretty much anybody besides me, because I don't even shoot the ball. Our whole team didn't run literally any green machine at all. And then AK was able to run stuff like this, for instance, where even if he didn't put any extra shooting, even though he had 2 extra, so he's able to run like bronze clutch shooter and bronze mini magician on top of that, but he was running Hall of Fame amped, Hall of Fame volume shooter, and then ran these badges in specific as well. So in my opinion, green machine may not be as much of a necessity as people think it may be, especially if you're not like a top dog on this game who's going to be like absolutely tearing people up and hitting all of your shots. In Pro-Am, it's a very defensive game. You will miss a lot of shots. That's just how it is. Not many guards are being extremely efficient this year. So you don't really get to utilize Green Machine a whole lot in the game, to be completely honest with you. So things like Volume Shooter and Amped and obviously Agent 3 blinders and limitless range, in my opinion, are a little bit more important than Green Machine, to be completely honest. But that's up to you to decide. Moving along, we'll just leave things how they are. I've already given you my feedback on the whole shooting and playmaking stuff. For defense, we have Box Out Beast, Rebound Chaser, Hall of Fame Off-Ball Pest, Silver Workhorse, and then we have the Silver Glove with Silver Interceptor Cord. You can go about this whichever way you want. I would say Interceptor is probably easier to core in Rec, whereas Glove is easier to core in my career probably. But this is where I would advise for you guys to maybe run certain badge loadouts that are tied to where you are on the defense. So we did talk about how we made this build with really like not that much perimeter defense. If you are someone that did make it with the good perimeter defense though, I would advise to maybe take all those badges off right there between the Box Out Beast, Rebound Chaser, and Off-Ball Pest. If you plan to play Wing D, boom, you are putting Pick Dodger to probably Silver. I know right now it's not showing, but you're probably putting a Silver. Consider that to be an extra badge point that we spend, and then Gold Workhorse would be another extra badge point that we spend. That would leave you with one left over. It depends on how you make it, because honestly, it probably has one extra too. Long story short, what I'm trying to get at right here though, is essentially just run things like Ankle Braces, Menace, Pick Dodger, Workhorse, stuff like that. Don't touch the Off-Ball Pest, Box Out Beast, Rebound Chaser, Chase Down Artist, Pogo, anything like that, if you're going to be guarding the wing. I would just advise for you to have maybe multiple badge loadouts where one is set for wing defense, the other is set for corner defense. It could really help you. It could really allow you to spend certain badge points in better ways and not run stupid things like, let's say, Menace or Pick Dodger if you're guarding corner. Just a good example for you guys. And then, yeah, to come back to the finishing real quick, as you can see, we got the Gold Giant Slayer, Silver Fearless Finisher, and then Bronze Acrobat. That's all we can afford. If you really want to put one extra finishing badge in, you could for the Silver Acrobat, I suppose. I don't think it's really that necessary, though, to be completely honest with you guys. It's just kind of where the badge points fill in. And also, if you really wanted to, I guess you could also go to 86 Driving Dunk. I didn't really showcase it in today's video. It gets you to the Gold Limitless, and then you can maybe run like something like Silver Slithery. So if you really want to be a fan of something like that, feel free to. Anyway, that's all for the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try to win 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put PG or put 6-1 in the comments for supports me all the way through. And like I said, if you guys want to stay tuned for this series, I'm not sure if I'm going to upload them in consecutive days, like back to back or anything like that. But what I'm going to be doing for the rest of this series is I'm going to be showing you the position that we run and what we like would ideally run. So let's say, I'll give you an example for the shooting guards. Most people run a 6'3" shooting guard as their quote-unquote meta. What we plan to do, and are going to be doing anyway, is running a 6'1" that's got 99 steal and is more defensive oriented and make it our shooting guard. So we're running 2 6'1s is the idea. Now, again, most people run the 6'3" and they have it built a little bit of a different way. I'm just giving you guys my explanation on what we run versus the meta. So while the video is centered around what the meta build is, I want to show you what our meta is versus the whole Pro-Am community's meta. And we'll just showcase 2 builds in each video. So if you guys want to see something like that, we'll also show my Ben Simmons build at the 3 compared to meta lockdown builds like the 6'7s and the 6'6s. IQ, who runs our like 4 and is also on a 6'9", compared to the meta power forward builds as well and what other people run. We'll show you guys all that stuff if that's what you're interested in. But anyway, that's all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. And other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.